So we're going to move quickly through this lesson. You learned in the first lesson that if two triangles have all corresponding parts congruent, all three pairs of corresponding angles and all three pairs of corresponding sides congruent, then the triangles are congruent, okay? And that looks like this. If you know all of this, then you know the triangles are congruent. However, it says this is more information than you need. If you have less information, but it's the right information, then you are good to go to call the triangles congruent. And in fact, for this lesson right here, we're going to have either three pairs of corresponding sides, which we're going to call the side, side, side congruence, or two pairs of sides and one pair of corresponding angles, very specifically the angle between those sides, which we're going to call side, angle, side, okay? And that's what we're going to find out now. Okay, so the first one, side, 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 or SSS postulate, says that if the three sides in one triangle are congruent to the three sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. We don't even need to know anything about the angles. We will then know the angles are congruent, but we didn't need to know that first to state the triangles were congruent, okay? Now, postulate is an accepted statement of fact. Don't worry about the difference between a postulate and a theorem and all of that. But side, side, side postulate is perhaps the most logical fact. It agrees with the idea that triangles are rigid features. You should know this. Bridges and things are built made of triangles because their shape does not change unless you put so much pressure on them that the triangle ends up breaking. It's not shaped like that anymore, okay? And this rigidity property is important to architects and engineers when they build things such as bicycle frames and steel bridges. If you know all of this, they're going to be locked into position and shape, and they will be definitely congruent. So knowing that, you can write a proof here. And here's the example. You've got, as a little diagram, you've got these triangles here, separated like by this support beam here. Okay, so you've got these triangles, and we know that this side is congruent to this, and this side is congruent to that. That's given information. Prove that the triangles are congruent. And essentially, what we've got here is the idea that we've got two pairs of sides congruent, and because we reflexively are sharing this side between the triangles, we know that that side is congruent too. So this information is given and this information is given. This part, ln, is congruent to itself through the reflexive property, and by then side, 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 you know that triangles are congruent, okay? So give it a shot with this got it problem now. So that was side, side, side. Now, I had referred to side, angle, side, and specifically said that it requires that the angle that you've got is included between the two sides. What does it mean? Okay. The word included refers to the angles and the sides like this. Okay. If you have this side right here and this side here, this angle is included. It's between them. Okay. Right in the middle of them. And you have this side right here is included between angle B and angle C. So if you have angle B and angle C and you're saying which the included side, you're talking about what side is right between them. Got it? Because what we're going to have here is the side, angle, side, or SAS postulate, which states that if you know two sides and an included angle are congruent to two sides and another included angle on the second triangle, right? Just like this, side, then angle, then side, side, angle, side, then we know the triangles are congruent. And you can follow it around and say side, then angle, then side. All right, this is just suggesting that you might have some intuitive idea of this side, angle, side, where here's the two sides, your arms, and here's the angle, how far apart you spread them, right? Side, angle, side. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the box and you're going to say, the box is this wide. Is that going to fit in this space? And then you turn around and you keep your arms at the same length and you keep that same angle, and you're going to be able to see whether all parts, including the width across the other side, is congruent and then will therefore fit, okay? That's the idea here that you might have experienced in the past, just to give you a sense of it. Now, specifically, if you're going to use side, angle, side, and they give you this information, what other information do you need to prove that these two triangles are congruent? Explain. Well, let's take a look. What you're given is these sides are congruent. You know that this is reflexively congruent. So for side angle side, what you need is the included angle between those two sides that you know, meaning this angle right here and this angle right here. You would need to know that those angles were also congruent to have side angle side congruence. So do you need another pair of sides? Nope. Not if you're using side angle sides. We already have two sides, so we need the included angle. Okay, so the diagram shows those sides. Therefore, in order to use side angle side specifically, you would need that angle right here. Angle EFD is congruent to angle GDF as I had marked out. Okay. Now, if you did know the opposite sides were congruent, then you could use side, side, side because you already have two sides. But they were asking you to do it with side angle side for this one. Okay. So let's see what we can do with this got it problem. Right, here they're asking you, would you use side angle side or side 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 to prove these triangles congruent? And maybe there's not enough information. If there's not enough information, write that. But what would you use to prove it? And here you can see like where should you start? And it suggests, well, start with sides because if you have three sides already, you're using side side side. But if you only have two sides, then you just got to check, is the angle that I'm given the included angle between those sides? Okay, so let's look at the first one, this one right here. It says, by the information given, you can see that you have two congruent sides and then an included angle, so you can use side, angle, side. For this one, you have two congruent sides, but notice this one is the included angle, but this one is not. You have these angles congruent, but this one is not in the right position, included between the two sides that you know. So what we would say there is not enough information. Okay, one of the angles is not the included angle. What about this one? Well, you're given three sides, so cool. Side, 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 right? And what about this one? Actually, this is an interesting one because you could use either, because you have three sides, side, 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 but you also have these vertical angles. And so you could use side, angle, side as well. Try your hand at this. Okay, hopefully that was pretty straightforward. If you have all three sides congruent on two triangles, you know the triangles are congruent by side, side, side. If you have two sides congruent and also the angle between those sides on both triangles, side, angle, side says that the triangles are congruent, and therefore all parts are. Try your hand at these lesson check problems.